Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. Each year, we donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profits to charitable endeavors, prioritizing programs that support STEM education, human welfare, and arts and culture. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
Here we go. This week, teams from
Independence,
Midview,
Western Reserve Academy.
Take the challenge on the Nordson Academic Challenge. Hey everybody, welcome to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. We're so glad you're with us this morning. Your hold tight for the next 30 minutes here. These teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. One more time, let's welcome our teams from Independence, Grafton Midview, and Western Reserve Academy. Today's winner will be the team with the highest point total at the end of our 5 rounds. At the end of this season, 60 area high school teams will have competed. The 3 teams with the highest scores back right here to play in our 56th championship game, trying to take home a top prize of $6,000 for their school, awarded by our friends at Nordson. Let's get it going. Let's start things off with the lightning round. In this round, all 3 teams compete. We award 20 points for a correct answer. You will lose 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Let's start every team now with 100 points. All ready to go? Don't be caught napping here during this round, even though all these questions are about sleep. Sleep. Sleepy was one of the 7 dwarves in this fairy tale. Midview.
Snow White.
That is correct. This Washington Irving character slept for 20 years. Answer? Rip Van Winkle. He composed the music for Sleeping Beauty and the Nutcracker. Midview.
Tchaikovsky.
That is correct. Sleepwalking was a problem for this Shakespeare lady. Western Reserve.
Lady Macbeth.
That is correct. Sleep is the best meditation, said this Tibetan religious leader. Western Reserve.
The Dalai Lama.
That is correct. This condition refers to an animal that sleeps through the winter. Midview.
Hibernation.
That is correct. Sleeping Bear Dunes National Park is in this Wolverine state. Midview.
Michigan.
That is correct. Why England Slept is a book by this 35th president. Midview.
John F. Kennedy.
That is correct. An old proverb says to let these sleeping canines lie. Western Reserve.
Dogs.
Dog is correct. For our final lightning round question, here's Power of 5 meteorologist Trent McGill.
Good morning. Just in case you ever wondered, 264 hours and 4 minutes is the world record longest period of time without sleep, held by a high school student who was probably studying for the finals. He was from which West Coast city, home to the U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet, and also the former home to the now L.A. Chargers?
Answer is San Diego, but that's the way to start the game, everybody. That's the end of our opening round. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like any more information about the schools that appear this season, you can scan that QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to the News 5 Cleveland Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of our season schools right there for you. News5Cleveland.com. All right, time now for Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let's meet our teams. Tatiana, you are the captain of Independence. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Tatiana, and I am involved in the Bio Society and the Just Right team.
Thank you for being here this morning. Hi, Jonathan.
Yep, my name is Jonathan, and I am in band and Bio Society.
Welcome this morning. Jenna.
I'm Jenna. I'm a senior, and I like to watch movies.
There you go. I like to watch movies too. Thanks for being here, all three of you. For your questions, Independence, we go to Ruben, the captain of Grafton Midview. You got an open board here. 1, 2, 3, or 4?
1.
You got it. All right. Independence, these are all yours. All set? Here we go. In 1996, the remains of a ferocious-looking dinosaur with 5-inch teeth were found in a cave at the edge of what largest African desert?
Sahara.
That is correct. In an effort to Americanize the U.S. Capitol building, Benjamin Latrobe designed a column featuring tobacco and what other native crop the Indians called maize?
Corn.
That is correct. People who engage in wanton destruction are often referred to by the names of what the initial Germanic tribe that sacked Rome in 455 AD?
No answer.
Vandals was the answer there. That's all right. We go to the monitor now. Here is your science question. To which of these elements in hemoglobin does the oxygen attach itself?
Iron.
That is correct. The feuding families who appear in George R.R. Martin's A Game of Thrones were inspired partly by the 15th century English Civil War, named for what flower?
Roses.
That is correct, the War of the Roses. One popular form of Japanese poetry is what kind of classic verse that has a total of 17 syllables in 3 lines?
Haikus.
That is correct. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Solve for x, giving your answer as a positive integer.
$25.
25 is correct. Though he is remembered for wrestling with affairs of state, what 16th president was a champion wrestler in his youth and is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Lincoln.
That is correct. Nice round, Independence. All right. Our second team today comes to us from Grafton Midview. Ruben, you're the captain. Congratulations on that. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Ruben. I run cross country and track. I'm a senior, and I would like to thank News Channel 5 for producing this program.
You are welcome. Thanks for adding us. 25 bucks? No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Sadie. Good morning.
Hi, I'm a senior at Midview. I am involved in band and academic quiz team, obviously, and National Honor Society. And I would like to thank Nordstrom Corporation for sponsoring the program.
Very well done. Thank you for being here, Sadie. Hi, Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm involved in band and Tri-M, and I would like to thank our alternates and our parents and family for being here and supporting us today.
Fantastic. They'd like to thank you as well. All right, Midview, your questions come courtesy of Western Reserve Academy. Isabella, you are the captain. Envelope 2, 3, or 4?
3.
3. You got it. Midview, all you. All set? Here we go. An Army officer named Reno didn't like the odds and led his squadron away from what famous 1876 battle in which Commander George Custer lost his life?
The Battle of Little Bighorn.
That is correct. The book Ghosts of Savo is not about ghosts, but about a pack of what large man-eating animals who travel in groups called a pride?
Lions.
That is correct. The wood from 3 dozen Indiana oak trees was used to repair the hull of what iconic U.S. ship nicknamed Old Ironsides?
The Monitor.
The USS Constitution. Sorry, that's okay. We go to the monitor. Here is your science question. A frequency of 30,000 kilohertz is equal to how many megahertz?
30.
That is correct. A plan to establish the first schools for girls in Russia was one project of what 18th century woman who became ruler of Russia and was called the Great?
Catherine the Great.
That is correct. The villain Iago causes a lot of trouble when he encourages the jealous suspicions of what Shakespeare title character? Answer?
Hamlet.
Othello is the answer. Othello. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. If the scale of a map is 1/4 inch equals 10 miles, how many miles apart are 2 cities that are 2.5 inches apart on the map?
100 miles.
That is correct. The Social Security system has been in effect since 1935 when it was established during the administration of what 32nd president?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That is correct. Midview, nice round. There you go. All righty, today's third team comes to us from the Western Reserve Academy. Isabella, you are the captain. Congratulations on that. Welcome this morning. Tell us about yourself.
I'm a senior at Western Reserve. I'm the editor-in-chief of our school newspaper, and I play classical piano.
There you go. Wow, that's a busy day. Hi, Lillian.
Hi, I'm a junior at Western Reserve Academy. I play the French horn and I dance.
There you go. Anna, you're up.
I'm a freshman at Reserve. I compete in Science Olympiad and I play tennis.
Welcome this morning. Welcome to all 9 of you. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for everything you're doing for not only your schools, but our community. Thank you so much. For your questions, Western Reserve, we come back to Tatiana from Independence. Envelope 2 or 4?
4.
You got it. All right, Western Reserve Academy, all you. Here we go. When not busy slaying monsters, Beowulf had time for what racing activity whose modern winners include Katie Ledecky?
Swimming.
That is correct. A short story by Nathaniel Hawthorne derived its title from what sort of magical touch acquired by King Midas?
Golden.
That is right. On the Great Seal of the United States, the eagle is shown clutching what sort of branch that symbolizes peace?
Olive.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Which of these bones is commonly referred to as the jawbone?
Mandible.
That is correct. Our sun is light years away from our nearest star, whose name includes the word for what mythical half-man, half-horse creature?
Centaur.
That is correct. The Number of the Beast was the 39th novel by what author, who also wrote the science fiction classic Stranger in a Strange Land? Answer?
Heinlein.
Robert Heinlein is correct. Back to the monitor. Here is your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
6.
6 is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. The transatlantic cable officially opened in 1858 with a message sent by Queen Victoria to what 15th American president?
Buchanan.
Buchanan is right for the bonus points. Nice round. There you go. That's how you do it. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Joining us from our partners at Cuyahoga Community College, sociology instructor Jacqueline Art. Great to see you again this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Before we move on, we're going to take a look at the scores as we have them right now. In third place with 240 points, Independence. In second place with 320 points, Grafton Midview. In first place, leading the way right now with 345 points, it's Western Reserve Academy. But hold on, time now for our Picture Perfect round. 8 questions this round, each with a picture or a graphic that has to do with that question. A correct answer here is worth 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. This is for all 3 teams again, so hands on the buzzers, eyes on the big monitor down front. All set? Here we go. Tulips like these were brought to Europe from what Turkish empire that collapsed at the end of Midview?
Ottoman Empire.
That is correct. In the title of this Dufy painting, the train is identified by what color? That also names a kind of music developed by African Americans in the late 1800s. Answer is blue. This 1849 painting shows a cadet at the U.S. Military Academy in New York, an institution more commonly referred to by what 2-word name? Independence.
West Point.
That is correct. If A equals 25, what is the value of this expression taking positive roots? Midview.
2/5.
4/5. 4/5 is the answer. Here you see George Washington taking command of the Continental Army at Cambridge, Massachusetts, a city now home to what oldest U.S. university? Western Reserve.
Harvard.
That is correct. In 1989, the 82nd Airborne was sent to what Central American country that was once part of Colombia? Midview.
Panama.
That is correct. Rising almost 20,000 feet, this is what Tanzanian mountain, the highest in Midview?
Mount Kilimanjaro.
That is correct. We are in a celebratory mood with this edition of Cleveland Magazine, which wouldn't be possible without the process of fermentation. What gaseous byproduct is produced in the alcoholic fermentation process with this bubbly drink? Western Reserve.
Carbon dioxide.
That is correct, and that's the end of our round. All right, stay right there. Our exciting grab bag round to determine today's winner coming up right after we mix it up. Stick around. Here we go. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. We welcome today's school advisors from Independence, William McGinnis. From Midview, it's Mike Filipiak is here again this year. And from Western Reserve Academy, Jeffrey Namioka. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for getting the kids here and having a good time this morning. All right, time for us now to mix it up. I ask each team 6 questions this time. A correct response here worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Independence, you're up first. All set? Here we go. Study this phrase and see if you can find the name of what river that carved out the Grand Canyon.
Colorado.
That is correct. Which of these adjectives could best be substituted for the word homogeneous?
Alike.
That is correct. Instead of hens, rearrange the letters here to name a large type of wasp.
Hornet.
That is correct. This was the title of a university lecture about what Egyptian boy king whose tomb was found in 1922.
Tut.
That is correct. Of these 3 rivers, which one flows into the Pacific Ocean? Answer?
Rio Grande River.
The Columbia River does. That's okay. We move on here. You have the subtitle of a book about what naval hero of the American Revolution, the captain of the Bonhomme Richard. Answer?
John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones is the correct answer. Nice job, Independence. All righty. That gets us to Midview. Midview. These are all yours. Ready to roll? Here we go. Instead of napping, see if you can find hidden here the name of what bear-like Chinese animal whose diet consists mainly of bamboo.
Panda.
That is correct. A person described as parsimonious can also be described by which of these words? Answer?
Superstitious.
Stingy. Sorry. If you play this right, you will rearrange the letters here to name what duck-billed, egg-laying mammal native to Australia.
Platypus.
That is correct. Although this species might sound like a camel, it's actually a type of elk native to what vast, cold region of Russia?
Siberia.
That is correct. Which of these noble aims is not listed in the preamble to the U.S. Constitution?
International respect.
That is correct. Published just before his death in 1543, this was the work of what Polish astronomer who stated that the Earth revolves around the sun? Answer?
Galileo Galilei.
Copernicus. Sorry about that. Nice round, Midview. All righty. Western Reserve, you're up. Here we go. All righty. Don't panic. You can find here what brave quality sought by the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz?
Courage.
Of course it is. Which of these words describes something that has been turned into bone?
Ossified.
That is correct. Poor Ted can become a deadly weapon if you rearrange the letters to name what kind of underwater projectile that sank the Lusitania.
Torpedo.
That is correct. This Bach cantata takes its popular name from what dark caffeinated beverage brewed from ground roasted beans?
Coffee.
That is correct. Which of these pirates was not a real person but a fictional character in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island?
Long John Silver.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. Before he would promote a man to the rank of general, this question was always raised by what French military leader who became Emperor of France in 1804?
Napoleon.
Napoleon Bonaparte is correct for the bonus points. There you go. All righty, that's the end of our round. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round is coming up after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Let's take a look at our scores right now. Go right down the line. 360 points, 440 points, 530 points. But hold on. Time now for our final deciding grab bag round. This is another free-for-all. I'll ask as many questions as time allows. A correct answer here is worth 30 points. Wrong answer, no answer, we take 30. For all 3 teams, hands on the buzzers, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Set. Here we go. Frederick the Great of Prussia enjoyed playing what musical instrument that is magic in the title of a Mozart opera, Midview?
Flute.
That is correct. Still laying eggs at age 74. What kind of seabird, the focus of the poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Western Reserve?
Albatross.
That is correct. This Japanese robe was used on ceremonial occasions by firemen on what largest Japanese island where Tokyo is located? Midview.
Honshu.
That is correct. Though he didn't have an iPhone, what author made the right call when he published the sci-fi novel I, Robot? Answer? Isaac Asimov. Choice: if you burn hydrogen in air, one of the substances formed is carbon dioxide, water, or potash? Midview.
Water.
Water is correct. With over 200 lightning strikes an hour, the lightning capital of the world is the region. That's our final buzzer. We go right to the scores from there. Oh, what a game. In third place today with 360 points is the team from Independence. In second place with 530 points is the team from Grafton Midview. And the winner of today's academic challenge with 560 points. It was a tight one. Western Reserve Academy wins it. Woo! Be sure to join us next time. We feature teams from Copley, Gilmore Academy, and St. Joseph Academy. Thanks for watching this one. I'm Rob Powers. Study hard. See you right back here next week.